Hey, good morning. Matt with Southern Green Outdoors, and I'm on a road trip today, and I'm not going to be able to really look at the screen. I'm just going to be talking about some things, and figured I might as well let you listen. So we sent out a lot of estimates. It's a fall season, and we're communicating with customers about various jobs. We've got a lot of fall and winter plants that we're selling retail. We have a wholesaler that is providing us with some amazing products, and we're out the rest of this week putting those in. So we've got an assortment of it all listed on our Facebook page. That's at Southern Green Outdoors. If you get a chance, pop over there, like the page, follow, and also get a look at the fall and winter plants and see if there's anything you might like. Again, we service the Tomball, Cypress, North Houston, North Harris County area, Klein, and we try to stay up in that area. So if there's somebody else getting this video, some other distance area, I'm sorry, we can't provide that service anywhere outside those areas. But anyway, the reason I'm making this message is I kind of want to explain our business model in how we conduct or how we create our estimates for various services and products. Because there's a big misunderstanding or a big misconception about how a company that's licensed, bonded, and insured, and stands by their work and guarantees the service that you get is professional and will last up to the point that it's worth your investment. Why do I say that? Well, we all know that there's companies and fly-by-night services. Maybe it's just some guy rolling through your neighborhood that's got a couple yards of mulch in the back, and he just wants to get rid of it and unload it. And sure, you might save a few bucks having him sling that stuff all over your yard. Now, are they going to provide the service that you're happy with in the end after you saved a couple of bucks here and there? Because you got some guy with some old dried out mulch that just wants to get rid of it. It's probably shredded one time, and it's got chunks in it, kind of like that cheap stuff you buy at Home Depot or Lowe's that they put on sale once a year, I think in the spring. It's dyed, and it just first rain, it looks like garbage in your yard. So you have that, but then you have a service that has legitimized itself in the business and in the field of landscaping and lawn care, and they take pride in it because, number one, they've insured your work. They've taken the risk away from you as a customer to know that if they come out to your yard to do what they've provided you an estimate for, and say a sprinkler head gets broken or a pipe gets hit by mistake or accident, you're fully protected. And that's an investment that companies like Southern Green Outdoors, us, and many others provide, that oftentimes aren't recognized by the customers. And it's you might for example, let's just go with mulch. You might look outside in your yard and say, wow, man, I need some mulch. This looks terrible. I've got weeds everywhere in the beds, and I'd really like to get some mulch put out here, and maybe even some new plants. So you see, hey, Southern Green Outdoors, let me request an estimate. You request an estimate, that comes in. We go through a estimate process for you based on the cubic feet of the amount of mulch you're going to need. Say you need 3-4 yards of mulch, 4 or 5 flats of flowers, plants of your choosing, and we put that estimate together. Now, actually putting the mulch in and putting the plants in, the delivery, the sales, in the install is part of the estimate. What people don't want to recognize as part of the estimate is the protections of the guarantee, the administrative cost of having a sales team that created this sale contact in the first place, and the fact that we're licensed and insured to protect you, the customer, to give you peace of mind that you're dealing with a reputable company that's going to stand behind their product and service. And that's what we're here to do. A lot of people, they don't recognize that, or they don't want to recognize that, because that's an overhead to the company that the company has to pay for somehow. You have equipment costs, you have fuel, we have labor. All of those things tie into the overall product estimate that we're providing to you, and it's rolled into the cost. That's the way a company operates. I know I sound like a broken record when I say people won't recognize that, or they don't want to. It's because they've grown accustomed to having that, one-time person that just happens to hit you at the right time when you need some mulch, and they did it for $50, and they slung that stuff all over, and next thing you know, you're out there with a hoe and a rake, and you're having to clean up the mess that they left you. And 3 weeks later, you find out you got a broken sprinkler head because they ran the wheelbarrow over it, and you have now created a situation where you don't have any recourse, because you're never going to find this person again, because they're a dime a dozen, and they're out there rolling around, doing business. Now, we don't operate that way. We know that goes on. We know that there's a lot of unlicensed, uninsured, non-legitimate companies, and I'm not, bashing them. I'm not, a lot of them are brand new, and they're maybe trying to get their business off the ground, and good for them. The quicker they can legitimize themselves, the better, because then they'll be able to, pay their sales tax and, create some guarantees and become a legitimate company like we are. So just recognize that when you ask for an estimate from any type of a contractor. I mean, we're no different than you call a plumber, and the plumber comes out, or the plumber looks at the work and says, look, you need, this many feet of pipe replaced or repaired, and you're going to have this and that and the other, and here's the cost. Now, how many people who called this licensed plumber would say, well, that's just ridiculous, that's unacceptable, that price is just way too much, I'm not willing to pay that. Meanwhile, they can't flush their toilet. So, you know what? They're not going to say that. They're going to pay whatever that plumber says. This is what, this is the price. And more than likely, they're going to call 3 different professional plumbers that are licensed, and they're going to get a very reasonable consensus of expense for that service. For some reason, lawn care, landscaping is not recognized as that equal of a service or product, because it's considered a luxury service. It's a luxury service because it's not a utility. It's not something that you absolutely have to have. You got to have air conditioning in the summer. You got to have water. You got to have power to your house. You got to have, certain things just have to be done, or else you can't survive. Putting mulch in your flower bed, you can survive without that. You might have a very ugly looking yard, and that's okay, because maybe you can't afford to do the things that you need to do. But that doesn't mean that service and product is not worth, or it doesn't have the same value that company's willing to offer you, because it is a business, and it's a luxury service being provided to you. And we get lots of requests for estimates that are turned down, and they turn down with extreme customers that are just flabbergasted that, hey, I'm actually going to have to pay that for this amount of mulch, or these plants, or cutting these trees, or trimming them and trimming bushes and all that. Well, that's my business model, and my business model says in order for us to maintain a business that's reputable, it's insured, licensed, bonded, I don't want to sound like a broken record, and I kind of am, but in order for us to maintain that status and provide you the service that we feel like you deserve for a luxury service, this is the cost that it's going to be for us to provide the services that you're requesting. Now, we don't get offended when, the estimate gets denied with extreme prejudice or whatever, because people get dramatic, and the one thing that we get most of the time is this is a very unacceptable price. The last guy did it for $25, and I provided a bid that says $175. Well, it's $175 for me to provide that service, because based on our business model and the guarantee and the professionalism of the service that we're going to provide, this is the price that we can do it for, and we feel like that's a price that's reasonable based on a business model that is legitimate. So $25 man more than likely doesn't have a lot of business overhead, because they're not paying it, and they're not paying taxes, and they're more than likely it's a one-man show, struggling to just get whatever business they can, and they're undercutting a lot of legitimate businesses by doing that. Not knocking them if they're trying to put food on the table, but the quicker they can legitimize themselves, the quicker everybody in this industry will be able to recognize that that's not a good way of conducting business. And in the long run, the customers end up losing, and our whole industry ends up losing, because customers just aren't happy, and they feel like that's the way business can be conducted. And it's not like that with, say, the plumber. So anyway, just some things I was kicking around. We had some estimates come in. A lot of estimates are coming in for fall flowers, planting, mulch, and aeration season now is pretty much over. We'll still do it if you request it, if you've got compacted soil and hasn't been aerated in a while. Aeration's a great way to loosen up that soil in your grass. Even if you have healthy grass, people don't even realize it. Sometimes it might look, thick and green. Well, sometimes that just opening it up with the aeration, which will put cores into your grass, about 2.5, 3 inches, opens that soil up and allows the nutrients and fertilizer and compost to feed that grass, and you'll just be ahead of the curve come spring, having a beautiful green grass coming through, while everybody else is just then trying to play catch up. So anyway, I hope that helped anybody who is requesting, and I'm not just talking about for our company, I'm talking about for the industry in general. Keep some of the things I said in mind about when you're asking for those estimates, and understand from a business model why certain things are the way they are. And there are sometimes options where discounts can be applied, or coupons, or seasonal sale can be provided. But in general, the estimate is based on the business model that we've created in order to protect you, the customer, and provide you with a guarantee of service and quality product. So have a good one. Take care. Enjoy the beautiful weekend. We'll see you later.